Morning, everybody. Welcome into the 815 Sports Podcast. We're doing this on a short week. I know a lot of people are busy with Thanksgiving. We hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. We weren't able to get a guest this week just with, people's schedules, Thanksgiving coming up, things like that. But me and Jake going to go back to our roots of just picking ourselves. We got some great games ahead this week. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about the Dolphins Packers game. This is one that we look forward to. It doesn't happen all that often. The Packers won the last 3 of the 4, but the time that you did beat us, like we talked about on Twitter today, we did go on to win the Super Bowl. So if we lose, I'll take that. We'll get it kicked off here with the 4-7 Bears, who just have some of the toughest losses you'll ever see this season against the 10-1 Lions, who seem to just blow teams out like they're Alabama playing against like Texas State or something in college football. But Jake, at Detroit, who you got in this one?
I got the Lions. I think I'm going to stop with the Bears love.
What's up, Sharisky?
Because
Miller.
I've been on the Bears train the whole year, and they just play good football until the fourth quarter with like 8 minutes to go, and then everything is out the window. They just will find a way to lose. And Detroit's the best team in the league. They should be Super Bowl favorites. So I'm going to take the Lions. What's the spread?
-10.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I like the Lions in a rout, probably.
Yeah, I like the Lions to keep the foot on the pedal, too. I just think they're a much better team than Chicago. I mean, they're way better coached. There's no question about that.
Yeah, they're better coached.
They've been in the situations that the Bears seem to not be accustomed to, not seem to be able to get over the hump. I think Jared Goff, Gibbs, Jameson Williams, who's really made, kind of spread the field out for them. And then Amon-Ra still. I mean, the defense is pretty good. You almost forget that Aiden Hutchinson got hurt because they're still dominating. I'm going to take Detroit. I don't know if I'd take the -10. I think that's a bit much for me, but I think they win.
Well, the Bears are just so poorly coached too, and that's what gets me. Like late in games, we can talk. We can go back to the game where they kicked the field goal versus the Packers, and there's 35 seconds left, and they just were content.
Oh yeah, with not moving the ball forward.
I mean, they're just late in games. It seems like they're poorly coached. Like they make late game decisions that are not great. But they got to figure that out. I would think this season's a lost season.
Oh yeah,
with their schedule,
they have a 0.1% chance to make the playoffs.
I mean, didn't the Packers go in on was it Thanksgiving Day last year and
4-6
win at Detroit? So I mean, who knows?
You're right.
The NFL will do shit like that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do remember the Packers winning last year on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they did.
When they shouldn't have.
No, and they actually handled them, really. They had the game right from the get-go. Mitch says, I agree. If Bears had better coaching and management, they would be way better. Yeah, Mitch, I like the profile picture there of Bo Nix. Let's see. Next game, this will be kind of a shitty game. The Giants, who are just falling apart right now, kind of embarrassing in the national media. And then Dallas.
Tommy DeVito.
Dallas had the good win against Washington. I wasn't expecting them to win that game. That was a crazy game. I'm sure you guys saw the highlights. McLaurin, we were watching it in the basement. Then they missed that kick. I think Dallas, even though I don't think they're that good, I think they're a better team than the Giants. I think they're able to pull this one out. I don't really have too much to say. The Jets have it really bad, but, of course, the other team in New York, the Giants, are even worse.
Well,
so I'm going to take Dallas.
To start the season, like week 2 or 3, you were probably looking at this slate of games and thinking, ooh, this might be a good day of football. Well, the Bears have absolutely shit the bed. The Giants and Dallas have shit the bed, and the Dolphins have shit the bed. So these 3 games aren't as good as that they were.
But the Dolphins are still playoff contention. Yeah, whereas those other teams aren't.
Well, I mean, say what you want, maybe. I don't think so, unless they win tomorrow. But I got Dallas as well. They're at home. I think this would be their first. Is this going to be their first win in Jerry World this year?
Yeah, I think it would be, yeah.
So I got Dallas at home. I think they get it done. I think they get to 5-7, and who knows? You never know.
No, they're not going to get in because you've already got.
They got a pretty weak schedule.
I know, but you've already got Green Bay and Minnesota taking up 2 wild card spots. There's only one more.
Yeah, they probably aren't getting in. They need a miracle, but they are America's team, so.
I don't understand why Drew Lock isn't starting. Yeah, I don't know. He said that they promised him the number 2 job, but I think there's a lot of things going on there with trying to save money. And Daniel Jones just signed with the Vikings. Did you see that?
No, when was that?
Just today, this morning.
Of course, the Dolphins don't do it.
Let's see. Packers, Dolphins. Packers at home. Going to be there tomorrow. Jake not making the trip. Packers favored by 3.5. It's going to be cold. The Dolphins are a team. I'm just going to be honest. They can't play in the cold. They can't play in the cold. It's probably going to be like 25 tomorrow. Potentially snow. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I'll have to take a quick look. But I think the key to Green Bay winning this is basically what happened last week. Yeah, just run the ball, give it to Jacobs, who's a stud. The line was playing great. Jordan Love wasn't turning the ball over, which was great. Hopefully they can capitalize on not dropping balls. I mean, last week Watson dropped what would have been a walk-in touchdown and a perfect pass. The defense played pretty well last week. I was impressed. Quay Walker played a lot better. I think, on the other hand, if Miami was going to upset Green Bay in this game, I think it comes down to the fact that they're very fast with Hill and Waddle. Since they've gotten Jonnu in the offense, Tua loves throwing to Jonnu.
Their offense is even better now.
He loves throwing to Smith. But I just think that Green Bay is going to get it done because I just think they're playing so good right now with the offense in the run game. I don't think Miami's going to be able to stop the run game, and that's going to be a big factor tomorrow or Thursday in the cold.
I think both teams are playing really well right now. I think if there was a time in the season for the Dolphins to beat the Packers, it's now when they're hot. Tua's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league since he's came back. I mean,
that is true.
I don't have his numbers, but he's not. I mean, he's hardly missing any throws. They're getting the ball out of his hands like they need to. And last week you seen Waddle get more involved in the offense. He hasn't been involved all year. I still don't know the Tyreek Hill problem. I don't know why they're not getting him the ball. He seems to get it like 4 or 5 times a game, but I mean, that's not a lot compared to what we were used to out of him. And then you add Jonnu Smith, who's, I think that's Tua's favorite target.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been absolutely keeping me alive in my fantasy week to week. And then A-Chain coming out of the backfield. So there's going to be a lot of weapons tomorrow that the Packers are going to have to worry about. And it's who do you double? Because if you double one and then you don't double the other, I still think you try to take Tyreek Hill away. And if the others beat you, the others beat you. I don't think you want to get beat by Tyreek Hill. But
I think something that could help the Packers, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to go deep a lot tomorrow or Thursday, but the Packers have 2 of the best safeties in the NFL.
Yeah, well, they probably shouldn't then.
So
they should try to do what they've been doing.
We'll see what they do in the short game.
Yeah, they've been doing slow, methodical, move the ball down the field.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And that's fine.
Mitch says to keep the Dolphins away from the 7th seed, go Packers.
And, well, because if the Dolphins win this one and go to 6-6, they are really alive then, because I like their schedule the rest of the way. They play the Jets. They would play the Browns. And
the Bills again?
No. The Texans. So
the Texans really haven't looked that good this year.
You just kind of see the window if the Dolphins can get this one. If not, if they go to 5-7, they essentially have to win out to get to 10-7. So tomorrow's a big game. I just don't know if I can take the Dolphins until they actually win a game in the cold.
You're taking the Packers?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just think the Packers are going to find a way to win. I think the Dolphins will find a way to lose. I mean,
do you think it's a blowout? I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be like a 31-30 game.
I think like it might be 31-20. I just don't think the Dolphins can play how they've played.
Do the Dolphins have a pretty good run defense?
The Dolphins have their defense has been good all year. Even when they were in that losing streak, the only reason they were in those games is because the defense kept them in it.
Mm-hmm.
The offense was anemic. But I just don't think the Dolphins overcome the cold deficit. I think they've got the team to. Look, if they win, you go up and down the roster and be like, oh, that's a team that could win that game. But like if this was like week 2 or 3 in Green Bay, I'd feel way more confident.
Yeah.
But at least it's not going to be snowing.
Yeah. Hey, hot take. I think Josh Jacobs goes for 102 touchdowns again tomorrow or
Well, I
Thursday.
don't really think it's a hot take because 100 yards, we've heard of, and 2 touchdowns. I think that's very realistic. But
I think they might run for 200 on Thursday.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to have the game in Love's hands. I think just keep pounding the rock. Dolphins D should hold under 30 points. What do you think of that take, Jake?
I would agree. I mean, their defense has been good. I have no. Their defense is a bend don't break.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they'll let you get in field goal range, but then for some reason then that's when they turn it on. They've been creating turnovers. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not picking them, but they really need this win more than the Packers do. Because the Packers aren't going to win the division.
No.
Right?
Well, I mean, if they went out, they could.
Well, is
And the Lions
Detroit going to
lose
lose 3 games?
If the Lions lose 2 and
They'd
we
have to
went
lose
out, we
3.
could make it.
Because if you have the same record, they're going to have the tiebreaker, wouldn't they?
Well, if we play them again. So if we
So
beat
that'd
them
be
one,
1-1.
if we beat them once,
And they beat you once, then
but if we have a better division record,
I thought it was conference.
Well, that too, but we'll see.
But so this game is more important for the Dolphins.
Well, if the Packers win this game, they're almost guaranteed to make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if they lose, I think they're in. Who do they got down the stretch?
We play the Bears again, the Vikings,
at Minnesota.
Yeah.
That'll be tough.
Yeah. We'll play the Lions again.
That'll be
at
tough.
Detroit.
Shit, they kind of need this game then.
And then I think we play the Saints. I think we can win that game.
Yeah. Well, with that schedule, I mean, 11-6 is probably
11-6 gets you in.
5.
Yeah.
It was what I would think. You're going to drop one of those road games.
Probably. We'll see how the team continues to progress. But the Black Friday game, Vegas at Kansas City. Vegas seems to always kind of have that one game a year where they play Kansas City where they really surprise you. And I have a weird feeling that they're going to surprise Kansas City in this game. I'm not going to pick them to win, but I would not take minus 12.5, especially after they barely beat Carolina.
Well, Vegas is starting. Aren't they starting? What's his name?
Minshew's out for the year.
Yeah,
so he ain't playing.
Is it O'Connell?
Probably be O'Connell then. I'm going to take Kansas City, but I don't think it's going to be 12.5.
Kansas City in a rout. Probably Kansas City by 20 or 30. This is it's going to be an ugly game. I don't know. They're not even going to be able to score with them. I mean, it's going to be ugly. This is going to be an ugly game.
I don't have much else.
Probably
to say.
the worst game of the week. Kansas City Kansas City.
Now, Sunday's game, this will be a fun game. The Chargers favored by 2.5 at Atlanta. I got the Chargers. Atlanta's kind of in a downswing. They're coming off of a bye week, but the Chargers, I mean, they lost.
Dobbins is out.
Yeah, he's out for a few weeks, but they lost to the Ravens on Monday. But I still feel like they're a better team. They have a defense, which Atlanta has no defense at all. So I think if you can figure a few things out there, you'll be fine. I like the Harbaugh-led team more than I like Atlanta and their head coach. But I just think the Chargers get it done in this one. I got LA.
I like the Falcons at home. I think they really need this at 6-5 to get to 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
I think without Dobbins, on the road, short week. Didn't they play on Monday night, or was that the Rams?
They played on Monday night.
So I just like the Falcons. Chargers coming off short week after to travel across country. No Dobbins. Atlanta's at home. They need the game probably to stay in the contention to win the division. So I like the Falcons.
Yeah, that's a good point. If they lose this game, they're right there with the Bucs, even though they beat the Bucs twice, so they still got the tiebreaker. All right, the 8-3 Steelers, who lost a game I did not think they would lose last Thursday in that cool blizzard. Yeah. And then the Bengals, who have been just unimpressive this year besides Burrow and Chase.
Yeah, but not their offense.
I know. I just said besides Burrow and Chase. I do think Cincinnati wins this game. I like their offense better. I've liked their offense better like numerous weeks this season. It hasn't boded well for me. But Pittsburgh, I not like what I saw last week. I'm sure Tomlin will have them ready to go, but I'm going to take Cincinnati.
I'm not sure you can judge the Steelers off of that game last week. I mean, that's element when elements like that are involved. I mean, you could be the best team in the league, and you know when the elements like that are involved, any team can win. Like it's just be like tomorrow. If tomorrow there was supposed to be 6 inches of snow, and it's sleet, rain, wind, you have no idea. The Packers could get in field goal range 3 times and miss all 3 kicks, and the Dolphins could score 2 touchdowns and win, and the Packers outplay them. So I a lot of me wants to pick the Bengals.
I picked them,
but I'm just saying Pittsburgh shouldn't be judged off of that loss versus the Browns, because we'll see in a couple of weeks when they come to Pittsburgh.
They do have like the toughest remaining schedule, though. Pittsburgh does, yeah.
Well, we can get into this whenever we do playoff talk, but Chargers and Pittsburgh have brutal schedules. I could see if the Dolphins continue to win, them catching one of these teams and Denver jumping up and not worrying about Denver anymore, worrying about these 2 teams. But the season has to play out. I think I'm going to ride with the Bengals at home. I don't really feel very confident in this pick, but I don't really feel confident in the Steelers just because I think the Bengals offense is better, but I think the Steelers defense is better. So you're going to kind of see both things, which one's going to,
succeed,
rise to the occasion.
The Arizona Cardinals coming off a abysmal performance in Seattle on Sunday, which really bummed me out. And then they're playing the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this would be huge for the Packers and the Lions, really, if Arizona can win this game. Now, it's going to be tough to win in Minnesota. But, I mean, if you win this, you knock Minnesota to 9-3. I mean, that's pretty big for the Lions and the Packers to get.
This is going to be a game where everyone wants to ride Minnesota. Not so fast. I just think the Arizona Cardinals.
James Conner only had 7 rushing yards last week on 6 attempts.
And the Vikings don't really win in great ways. Like when they win, you're not like, oh, the Vikings won. It's like, oh, the Vikings barely won again, right? I mean, just like last week when they were up 10 and the Bears probably could have won that game if they recover that fumble on the kickoff. But who are you taking?
I got Minnesota at home. I don't like anything I saw from Arizona last week. I don't know if that's going to carry over or not, but
2 tough places to play. You go from
Minnesota's super tough to play.
Seattle. You go from Seattle to Minnesota.
You got to hear the skull chants the whole time you're there.
But
Lucas says Vikings overrated. In his opinion, they got bailed out a few games. I agree.
See, that's what we were.
Christian asked if you just got out of bed.
Fuck you, Miller. But yes, I did about an hour ago. I think I'm going to take the upset here. What's the spread?
3.5 Minnesota.
I think I'm going to take Arizona. Arizona's a decent football team, and what I've seen from Minnesota this year is that they find ways to win late. So maybe they don't find a way to win this game, but I'm going to take the Cardinals.
All right. The 5-7 Indianapolis Colts at the 3-9 Patriots. The Patriots head coach will probably be fired at the end of the year. The Colts, I don't know about their head coach. I'm sure his seat's pretty warm. But I think the Colts are the better team than New England. I think Drake May has better potential long term.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. Than Anthony Richardson. But I think Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts, along with Jonathan Taylor and Pittman, I just think they're a little bit older, just a tad older.
But, I mean –
and I think they beat New England.
New England went into Chicago when Chicago thought they were going to get things on track, and they won. And now New England's at home facing kind of the same team. I mean, the Bears and Colts are kind of similar. I mean, they're both underperforming. Yeah. They both have who we think is going to be quarterbacks in the league for years to come.
I don't think Richardson is, but
they both have pretty good running backs and wideouts. So I'm just saying this game could be a little bit closer than everyone thinks. And that's why, I mean, it's only a 2-point spread. I think I'll take the Colts just because they're the more competent team. But maybe if this was a Bill Belichick 3-9 Patriots, I'd take them. But it just ain't your old Patriots. And how about Tua and the Dolphins owning the New England Patriots since Tua's been there? I don't think he's lost. So
what helps that Brady was never there?
Well, yeah, but Brady retired.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. Oh, one thing I forgot to say about the Miami-Green Bay game. You know, Green Bay is the youngest team in the league, and the Dolphins are the oldest team in the league. by average age.
Isn't that weird? Because I don't feel like Tua's my age. Waddle's my age. Tyreek Hill, is Tyreek Hill 30?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the average age, though. So it's just how it is. But, let's see. The 6-5 Seahawks at the Jets. Look, I really wanted to pick the Jets in this game. Something about me always wants to pick Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, and the Jets. And I've told you all year that the Jets will jet.
And I'm going to have to listen to Jake. I got Seattle on this one. I can't bring myself to pick the Jets in this one. I really like what I've seen out of Smith and Najigba these past few weeks. He's really turned it on. Kenneth Walker's still a really good running back. DK. The Jets, I don't really have much to say about them other than they're in complete shambles. Rodgers will probably be on a different team next year.
Who's in first in the NFC West?
It's probably still Arizona right now.
Tied with Seattle.
Yeah.
So
well, they beat Seattle, so they probably have the tiebreaker.
Okay, so I've got Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game is huge for them because if you're looking at games before they're played, you like the Seahawks' chance to beat the Jets, and you like the Vikings' chance to beat the Cardinals, and the Seahawks are going first, going into Week 14. So I got Seattle.
Yeah, I got Seattle too. The Titans coming off of an unexpected win against the Texans.
Yeah, this fucking football season's been so whacked.
I don't know. I always think Vegas has a lot to do with it. And then the Commanders, who have really kind of slowed down lately. Even with that being said, I'm still going to take the Commanders to beat the Tennessee Titans. I think they are a better football team. I think they have a little bit better weapons. I think their offense looks a tad better than the Titans.
Well, yeah,
and I like their defense. I like that Tennessee has a decent defense, but I like Washington.
You say Vegas has a lot to do with that, but I can't imagine Vegas is calling the Texans in the fourth quarter and telling that Ugu, whatever his name is, to miss a 28-yard field goal to tie the game. Right?
Fairbairn?
Or whatever his name is. Ugu's from the Falcons, whatever his name is.
Oh, Young Hoko.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's just a missed kick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying Vegas doesn't have something to do with the big important games, but I'm not sure about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Commanders. They get back on track, 8-5. Who's winning? Are they division? Who's winning the
Eagles? By a lot.
So yeah, because they got 2 losses. Commanders got 5.
The Eagles are rolling.
So
Barkley's a stud.
He's probably gonna win MVP of the league, right?
That's what people are thinking. I still think it'll probably be a quarterback.
Well,
probably a little
I got
more.
the Commanders.
Did you see they're talking about changing their name back to the Redskins? I'm just saying they're talking about it. The Texans at the Jaguars. The Jaguars suck. Mac Jones sucks. I got the Houston in this game.
Yeah, I got Houston. I think they get back on track after an absolutely brutal loss at home. I mean, you talk about how good their record would be if they would have won both these games. I mean, they're going to be 8-5. They could be 9-4.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're lucky they're in a shit division.
Yeah, I think Houston wins.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think they're playing as well as we all thought they were earlier in the season. And that's the same as the Commanders.
Stroud hasn't played as good as
Commanders
he did
and Texans kind of are teetering along that line, and I would think it's teetering down.
Yeah.
Compared to earlier in the season, it was fucking skyrocketing.
We're seeing, like, at this point in the season, though, you want to be trending, upwards,
but
whereas those teams are kind of trending down.
What's nice about them is they're probably going to get a home game for their playoff game. The Commanders aren't. So the difference is Houston is probably going to win. Well, they'd be the 5.
They'd be the 4.
Yeah, but they play the 5th. The 5th seed plays the 4th. So they would get the best team out of the wild cards.
Mm-hmm.
And that 5th team is going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Rams at Saints. Houston is 30-15 all time against the Jags. I think they continue this weekend, Lucas.
Yeah.
The 5-6 Rams at the 4-7 Saints. I got the Rams in this game. I think Stafford gets back on track here. You still got Kupp, Nakua, Kyron Williams. Even though one of your wide receivers, Demarcus Robinson, got a DUI after the game. I think, like I said, I think the Rams get this one.
I think the Rams do too. And since that division's kind of shitty right now, they win and they get a couple losses. I mean, they're back tied, right? All 3 teams could be 6-6.
Yeah.
Including the Niners.
Yeah.
So It's a big game for the Rams. I think they win.
I agree. Bucks, Carolina. Give me Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Did anybody think Carolina was going to take the Kansas City Chiefs
No.
all the way down to 3 seconds and needing a field goal to win?
No. Vegas. Maybe.
But I just think it's hard to repeat that week to week versus better teams.
But Bryce Young has looked a little bit better since he's got thrown back in there as a starter.
I mean, he went up against one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, he made a lot of good throws.
Arguably, they could have won. I'm going to take Tampa Bay, though. Bucks.
Christian says Bucks 47. Let me say Bucks 47-6.
It'll be probably like 32 to 10.
Yeah. This should be a really good game.
Yeah.
Game of the week on Fox.
This is battle of the NFC versus AFC, some of their best, though.
You got 4 of the best running backs in football in this game. I saw a tweet that said that.
Henry, Barkley,
Lamar, and Hurts.
Yeah, tush push.
I know it's on the road, but I like what I've seen from the Eagles a lot better. I mean, they're both really good teams, but I mean, Saquon Barkley's playing amazing football right now. You got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Goddard. Jalen's doing really well. On the other hand, I mean, obviously Baltimore's good. Lamar is really good. He's only threw 3 interceptions this year and has 30 total touchdowns. I don't like Zay Flowers, A.J. Brown. Give me A.J. Brown. Saquon or Henry?
That's a toss-up.
That is pretty much a toss-up. But I tell you what, man, Saquon is just look
right now
insane.
Saquon, but that's not to say Barkley can't have a 125-yard game.
Yeah. I got the Eagles.
Look, this is battle. Both these teams are in first place, right?
Yeah.
And these are
no, I'm sorry. The Steelers are in first in the NFC North.
Oh, that's because they're 8-3 and the Ravens are 8-4. So basically, both first place teams, almost 2 of the best in their respective conferences. Give me the home team. I don't know why I'm a sucker for taking the home teams in games that are close. What's the spread? You must stop.
Yeah, I must stop.
No big deal.
Quick.
I've got Baltimore. I think they're the better team. I should say I think they're the better team.
Baltimore 3.
Baltimore's favored by 3.
Yeah,
that's because they're at home. I just think Lamar. Look, they've lost a lot of big games, right? When he plays in them, I mean that's kind of his kick in the side, right? Lamar's got to win a big game. Well, this is a big game late in the season. Getting to be late in the season, I think they get it done at home. You know, everyone always criticizes him because he can't throw and he can't win big games. Here you go. Let's see it.
Yeah, it should be a great game.
This is your game to get. You're at home. If you were in Philly, it'd be different.
The Ravens' defense is really bad. Eagles' money line, Mason says.
Get to work, Benning.
Must be break. Let's see. Sunday Night Football, Niners at Bills. There's gonna be a lot of snow there.
Well, and again, this game is not as good as they once originally thought it was gonna be, right?
Yeah.
So
I'd imagine Purdy's back this week, but you never know.
But again, if there's gonna be a foot of snow,
there's gonna be a lot of snow.
So throw the records out the fucking window. I'm just saying, but again,
I didn't like anything I seen from San Francisco on Sunday. I know they had a backup quarterback in there.
Yeah, but that's your whole team. I mean, that's
the Packers had a backup and they went 3-0.
Yeah, but they weren't playing the best. Were they playing the best teams? The Niners are coming into Green Bay.
They beat the Jaguars, Tennessee, and who was the other team they beat with Malik Willis?
Regardless, you already made my point.
Okay,
those 2 teams are feeble, right?
They are, but
so
it's a backup quarterback.
Yeah, but it's different when you're going to Lambeau and there's 85,000 screaming cheeseheads at you. But again, Buffalo is another place where you don't want to play. The fans are
especially with the weather.
They're going to be singing that fucking garbage song, "Shout,"
jumping on fucking beer pong tables.
They're the most obnoxious fan base in all of sports.
I would say the Eagles are right there with them.
Yeah, well, they're not jumping on tables, burning shit.
Saints, I don't know. You had a little bit of a late comment there.
I'm going to take Buffalo, but with you saying Purdy's coming back and the weather,
He might come back. I'm not for sure on
okay,
that.
but regardless, if he does come back and the weather is how they think it might be, this game is going to be close. The Niners
Low scoring, I
could
think.
get back to being competent, and they've won games in the past, big, huge games like this in the past. But with that being said, I'm going to take the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills too. They're at home. Like I said, the weather's going to be a factor. And honestly, I mean, even like I said, I know the backup was playing, but San Francisco looks like a defeated team.
They kind of.
I mean, I was watching ESPN the other day, and somebody brought up the point that, like, they've been in the NFC Championship game, I think 4 out of the last 5 years, and have made it to the Super Bowl the last 2 years.
Niners, yeah.
And then lost really tough games, or the last 2 out of 3 years and lost tough ones. I mean, that kind of takes a toll on you.
So do we think?
And they've played a lot of extra football.
Do we think the Niners' reign is coming to an end?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm not going to say they're going to break up the whole team, but I don't think they're going to be the same dominating team that we've seen in the years past. McCaffrey, I know he's coming back from injury, so maybe he's still getting it going, but he just doesn't look as good as he did last year. Debo is dropping balls that hit him in the hands. I mean, he looked like Christian Watson out there with the drops.
Yeah, they're not a good football team right now.
George Kittle still looked amazing on Sunday. I got to give him his flowers, but I got the Bills. The Dolphins are going to be too cold and lose by 2 touchdowns. It's a good take, Mason.
Yeah, well,
that's a good take.
Mason's a Packer fan now, so why don't you just tell everyone who you like?
He is a big
Mason.
Packers fan.
Are you gonna become a Cardinal fan next? You do that.
Christian, I was talking about Willis 3-0. I think Saints are the other team he beat. We haven't played the Saints yet.
Well, then who'd he beat?
I don't remember playing the Saints. Let me look at the schedule.
What Lucas say?
Trent Williams will be back. That's big. Midget McDaniel might freeze on the sideline. He'll probably wear one of his jumpsuits.
Yeah. What did he say? What is he back?
Who?
Oh.
Mason, I got to see who they
what do you got to say about you being a Packer fan now over the Bears?
They beat the Colts with Malik Willis, not the Saints.
That's another great win.
Jake, your team is 5-6. Why don't you just shut up?
Because
we're gonna fucking dog walk you on Thursday.
You said they were good wins. They weren't good wins. They beat.
It's a good win if you beat a team with a backup quarterback, in my opinion. Monday Night Football.
You picked them, so that means you thought they were better.
Yeah. Monday Night Football. Broncos, Browns. Broncos playing really good. Knicks is playing really good. The Browns got lucky last week in the elements. I got Denver in this one. I think they take it.
I got home. Broncos get to 8-5. Browns probably got their best win of the season. That was their Super Bowl. They'll probably lose out.
Yeah.
So Denver.
Back to the Packers game really quick, Jake. Dolphins Packers.
What do you say?
Mason says bear down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Back to the Packers Miami game. How are you going to feel if the Packers get blown out? And before I was coming into this,
the Packers get blown out?
If Miami gets blown out by the Packers.
I mean, it's almost to be expected because the last time the Dolphins won a cold game, I mean, maybe versus the New York Jets like last year, the year before.
Mason says the Bears probably won't win another game.
He's probably right. The last time I've seen the Dolphins win a big, huge game in the cold was versus the Steelers. I don't know what year it was. It was with Tannehill. It was when they ran that last second play, and I don't remember who was running down the left sidelines. And
he stepped out of bounds.
He was wide open, and the dumbass stepped out of bounds.
That was Antonio Brown.
And the Dolphins won. The Dolphins have played in New York and New England when it's been cold, and 2 has won. But I just don't know. This is a different type of cold. Those were like 40, 50, 30-degree days. This is going to be 20, wind chill. Could have some snow. I guess we'll see.
I don't know how the field goal situation is going to be.
Tyreek Hill has played in the cold. So if he gets thrown the fucking ball, he better catch it.
He's played in the cold, but I don't know. When he played for the Dolphins and he's played in the cold, he looks like shit.
Well, he's played with the Chiefs. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get you riled up, Jake. Have a good holiday, Lucas. Have a
Yeah,
good
you too,
holiday,
Lucas.
guys. You guys got anything to say in the comments? If not, we're going to hop off. But everybody have a good Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.